All right, welcome back to Steve Loves God. Here to do a video, a topic that resurfaced for me. Having a conversation with a guy. He was trying to explain to me about the book of Enoch, about the sons of God, how it has to be angels. The only time the sons of God were mentioned in the Old Testament was referring to the angels, such as in Job. I can easily prove all of that incorrect. So let's dive into this, shall we? Let's do the basics. Genesis chapter 6. The concept is the angels of God. This is the theory out there. There was the fallen angels of God. They came down, saw that the women were attractive, and they had sex with them. And these same offsprings gave children to the Goliaths, the Hercules type people, half angels, half human. They was giants. I can easily prove that's incorrect. And I do mean easily. All scriptures. So let's read it. And it came to pass when the men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto men. The sons of God. So let's look at this. We gotta see what we're reading. This the Ben Elohim. I don't speak Hebrew, but we can pull up the concordance because this is how some people will refer it to you. Hebrews 11:21. The Ben Elohim. Elohim is God, as you can see right here to the left. The sons of God. Just so you see, saw the daughters of men, and it will be the men were referred to as of Adam. That's why Adam is named Adam. He's the first man. They saw the daughters of men, right, and that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Now this, look at this aspect. If that theory is true, this would mean the angels actually married these women. Didn't happen, but let's keep reading just so we can see what happened. And the Lord said, so when that happened, the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. So he's saying the reason they were living that old, because they was living 700, 800, hundreds of years old, like Methuselah or who's it, Mahalalel. He lived to be like 900 and some change years old. Why? Because right here, the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, which meant his spirit was striving with man at the time. It says there were giants in the earth in those days. And also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old. Why do people ignore this part? Old men of renown. Now, again, why were they old? Right here, the previous verse explains it. But let me prove to you that the sons of God is also referring to humans, not just angels. Now, watch this, because I'm gonna really break this down for you. So we go to Hosea, right? I made a little chart because it's too many verses, so many verses. Hosea 1 chapter 10. Let's go there. Now let's understand this story because this is significant in the parallels of Genesis. I'm gonna try to sum it up. The word of the Lord came to Hosea. You know, Essentially the children right here. Verse 2 is the key. The Lord said to Hosea, "Go take unto you a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms." So this is rough here for me. This is rough. But the Lord said to Hosea, he has to take a wife that is a whore and the children of whores. Why? For the land have committed great whoredom, departing from the Lord. So he went to and took Gomer, the daughter of whoever that is. Can I don't speak Hebrew. It says, which conceived and bare him a son. Now, what happened? The Lord said unto him, call his name Jezreel. Jezreel. This you guys got to check this website out. BlueLetterBible.org. Really good. Really good website. Let's read it.
Strong's H 3157. Yisrael. Yisrael.
That's amazing that that's his name. That the Lord said to call him that because that's a spinoff of Israel. So this is God naming him that. Look, call his name Yisrael for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of him upon the house of Yehu, and will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. I'm reading this so that this is all leading up to what happens. And it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Israel. And she conceived again and bare a daughter. And God said unto him, call her name. Let him read it.
Strong's 3819. Lo Rachama. Lo Rachama.
So it says, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away. But I will have mercy upon the house of Judah, and will save them by the Lord their God, and will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by cattle, nor by horse, nor by horsemen. It says, now when she had weaned Lo-Ruhamah, she conceived and bare another son. Then said God, call his name Lo-Ami. It says, now listen to this. This is not the first son, this is the second one. It says, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. All of that was leading up to this. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered, and it shall come to pass. So this is this is right here. It shall come to pass that in the place where it was said to them, "You are not my people," there it shall be. This means later it shall be said unto them, "Ye are the sons of the living God." So again, the this is the same one. The Ben Elohim, the Ben, the sons of God, the children of God, same word. Hebrews 11:21. So that's what they shall be called. So God made his life, Hosea, a living example of what happened when you mix the lines. That's what the children of Israel was doing at this point. They were taking all the regular people, all the we'll get to that at the end of the video, but they were mixing the lines of the children of God with the other people. That's what made them whoredoms. They was going after strange women, strange land. That stuff was commanded. They was not supposed to do that. One. So look, that's one example of the sons of God. So this is what you have to understand. Genesis 6:4. When the sons of God came unto the daughter of men, the sons Hebrew word was Ben. Hebrews 11:21. And everybody should know Elohim. That's God. So that's the first time. That's not the first. That's the first point. The second point, Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 1, where God again said, "You are the children of the Lord." Now again, this is the Old Testament. This is in Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy. This is early on. You are the children of the Lord your God. You shall not cut yourselves nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. So let's pull it up. Deuteronomy 14, verse 1. And guys, learn to use this website. You could pull up the verses, click tools, and the tools pop up. This is the linear. You, the Ben, right here. The children, it says children, but again, what are they called? The Ben Elohim. See, the Ben of the Lord, Jehovah, that's where Jehovah comes from. Elohim. What are they? You are the children of the Lord your God. So again, who are the daughters of God? I mean, who are the children of God? Israel. Let's pull it up. Let's pull up another one. And this is one of my favorite ones. Because Jesus quoted this. Psalm 82, verse 6. Psalm 82, verse 6. I have said you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. How does it read in the Hebrew? What did he say? You are Elohim and the children, right here, of the Most High. Who are they the children of? God. Now let's pull up what Jesus quoted. Jesus was explaining to them. Let's pull it up. John chapter 10, verse 34. That's why this is significant, because Jesus, trying to do two things at once. Jesus was trying to explain to them because they called him a blasphemer, right? Jesus said, verse 32, many good works have I showed unto you from the Father. For which of these works do you stone me for? Because blasphemy is, punished by death. So Jesus is talking to who? The people of the Old Testament about the Old Testament. The Jews answered him and said, for a good work we stone you not, but for blasphemy, and because you being a man makes yourself God. So again, even this is why I tell people the children of Israel were referred to as the children of God. Jesus had to explain to the same Old Testament people this. Jesus said, is it not written in your law, I said you are gods? What did he quoting? Psalm chapter 82. He said, if he called them gods, who is he? God. If God called them gods, unto whom the word of God came and the scripture can't be broken, he said, say you of him whom the Father have sanctified and sent to the world, you saying I blaspheme because I said I am the Son of God? Again, what did he say? I am the Son of God. Now again, this is Greek, so it's written differently, but again, it's exactly what it is. I am the Son of God. So he's explaining if they are called the Son of God. See, this is why Jesus fulfilled the Old Testament. They were the Son of God. Jesus came and literally showed them that. So we could become the Son of God by following after Jehovah, the Lord. Jesus is the Lord. He had to fulfill those. But let's stick with this. So the children of God, I'm showing you many references where it's talking about the regular folks. So these are three verses here where God is calling them that, not other people. This is God calling them the children of God, the Ben Elohim. All right, pause it. Let's go to Job. Where the heck is it at? All right, look at Job 2:1, where people refer to as this is proof that the Old Testament in Genesis is these angels. It doesn't even make sense. Job 2:1 says, and again, there was a day when the sons of God, so I'll show you, this the Ben Elohim, and I showed you the same reference was to the children of Israel. So what do we have to do? We have to use context. They came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. So Satan came by himself. So the sons of God were the holy children. Can you see that reference? It doesn't say the fallen angels. It says, and there was the day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and then it adds and then Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, from where did you come? And Satan answered, he said, to and from the earth, walking up and down in it. So this is where they had the interaction. This is an example of Satan coming in. The sons of God are the holy angels. The holy angels. They're not the fallen angels. Job 1 verse 6. This is again. It says, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came among them. So again, the sons of God, nowhere does it refer to fallen angels. It's always referred to the holy people. Let's look again. Job 38 verse 7. When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy. This is not the fallen angels. So even if you was to try to use this, everywhere in the scriptures it refers to the fallen angels. It doesn't refer to them as the children of God, the sons of God. God will not give them that title. So what actually happened in Genesis chapter 6? People get mad because the scriptures is plain. Let me show you proof. What were they commanded to do throughout the Old Testament? Let me show you. So the people of the Old Testament, this is after Genesis, they were always told to stay separate. So let's look at this. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. The Lord always wanted them to be separate throughout. He was really strict on this. I showed you the Hosea one where they got punished, and he had to marry the wife of the whore because they went after strange people. So when the Lord thy God shall bring them into the land where they shall go to possess it and cast out many nations before them, these are the nations. Look, the greater nations also mightier than them physically. It says, now when the Lord thy God shall deliver you, you shall smite them, utterly destroy them. You shall make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. No covenant, nothing, no agreement. A marriage is a covenant. But he specifically says in verse 3, neither shall you make marriages with them. Genesis chapter 6 says they took them on as wives. A wife is you marry them. Neither shall you make marriages with them. Thy daughters you shall not give unto his son, nor his daughter shall you take for your son. Why? For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. And what will happen? So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly. So they were supposed to destroy all of that. But why? Verse 6. Why? Why did he say that? For you are a holy people unto the Lord your God. The Lord your God have chosen you to be a special people unto himself above all people that are on the face of the earth. This concept is quite simple. If you look, If you go through the lineages, the lines of Cain versus the line of Seth, Cain's people, I might have to make a part two where I can show a picture of a chart. Cain's people, Cain had an Enoch. Let me show you. Cain's firstborn was Enoch. Look, Cain went out. Where was Cain at? Cain went out from the presence of the Lord. So again, this is why I say this is why the line of Seth became mighty men, as I showed you in Genesis 6. But why? Because where they were at, they was in the presence of the Lord. Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain, consummated the marriage. He knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. What did he do? Something carnal. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but if you look at the lines, they was doing things that were carnal. Enoch, from him, he built the city. He called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. So Cain built the city. He had a son named Enoch, and he named the city Enoch. Now, the Enoch that came from Seth was a prophet of God. Now, unto Enoch was born Irad. Irad, you know, begat Mahuhal. I don't know how to say that. And he also begat Lamech. And what was Lamech? Look, mind you, they are not in the presence of the Lord. Lamech took on two wives. The name was one was Adah, and the name of the other one is Allah. So what's significant about that? This is the first recorded time of polygamy. This is the point I want to make. Lamech said to his wives, listen to me, I have slain a man to my wounding and a young man to my hurt. He's just murdering people. Where did this come from? The line of Cain. Now, if Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 77-fold. So what happened to Cain is quite known. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son and called his name Seth. For God said she have uh for God, this is what she said. For God have appointed me another seed instead of Abel who Cain killed. Now what does it say? And to Seth, him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos, and then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. This is significant. So let's look at chapter 5. This is significant. It's talking about the two lines for a reason. They had a bunch of children, Adam and Eve, but it's talking about Cain and Abel, and then Seth for a reason. There's a reason this is recorded. Adam lived 130 years and had a son after his own likeness. Likeness. After his image and called his name Seth. It says, and he had begotten Seth, after that he lived 800 years. And he had sons and daughters. See, sons and daughters. He had multiple sons and daughters. It wasn't just them. All his years was 930 years, and he died. Seth lived 105 years and had got, now look at this. His son Enos. Enos, Seth lived 912 years and he died. Enos had Canaan. Canaan had Mahalalel. Now, mind you, they had sons and daughters. Canaan had begat sons and daughters. I'm going through this lineage just so you can see that there's a significance here. You go all the way down, and Jared lived 162 years, and he had Enoch. Jared lived after Enoch 800 years. He had sons and daughters also. Now look, Enoch lived 65 years and begat Methuselah. Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters. So Enoch also had sons and daughters, but it's talking about a specific lineage because this is the lineage also where Jesus come from. This is the holy line. It's not that complicated. It says Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Again, where was he at? They were in the presence of God here. Now, look at this. He had he had a lamb, Methuselah. So Enoch's son is Methuselah. Now Methuselah's son is Lamech. Now listen how remember Lamech from Cain's line killed two people, had two wives. Now this Lamech at 82 years he had a son and he called his name Noah. Why? This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands because of the ground which the Lord had cursed. Now he was looking towards God for rest, for comfort. This Lamech compared to the other Lamech. You guys don't see this comparison? Now, mind you, this whole situation here contradicts the book of Enoch contradicts this, but let's stick with this. All the days of Lamech was 777 years. You guys don't think that's significant? Lamech, who had Noah, he lived 777 years old. And of course, we know Noah had, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now, look at the specifics here. This is what we read this. The sons of God, they saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took the wives on which they chose. The Lord responded, my spirit shall not always strive with these men. Not these, I'm adding that, but shall not always strive with man for his name, he's going to live 120 years old. There were giants in those days when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. Again, these are their wives. So the people that was having these children, these offspring, were living with the people. Look at verse 5. God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, beasts, and both man and beast, and the creeping things, everything. It repented me that I made it. What now? This is significant. Mind you, the book of Enoch contradicts this whole story here because it says Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. Now, what does this say? Remember, Enoch walked with God. Remember that. So you can. I wanted you guys to see the context. It was talking about on earth. Enoch walked with God, and then God took him. Noah walked with God. So where is he at? He's in the presence of God. What did it say about Canaan? Canaan left the presence of God and started having offsprings. He had those offsprings after he left the presence of God. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. Not perfect in general, but in his generations, he was perfect and he walked with God. Noah begat three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. This says the earth was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. Now look at this. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And who revealed this to Noah? I asked this because the book of Enoch contradicts this. It says Noah walked with God. You guys got this, right? Noah walked with God, just like Enoch did. This comes from the line of Seth. God spoke to Noah and revealed this. The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. He's given a reason why he will destroy the earth. The earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, remember, the violence started with Cain's offspring, Lamech. First it starts with Canaan. Let's not forget that. From Cain. Cain. The murder started with Cain, and his offspring was doing the same thing. And they started mixing. The sons of God went to the children of men. What you think gonna happen? See, the sons of God, they were the big people. So look, God revealed what was going to happen. He's going to destroy them. Told them to make all of this stuff, to make the ark. And behold, even I do bring a flood of all waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, where is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. So people ask, what happened to the Garden of Eden? It got destroyed in the flood. And God said his spirit will not always strive with men. So his presence, he removed it. The Garden of Eden was destroyed, and he removed his presence. But what will happen? I will establish my covenant, and you shall come into the ark. And your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives are with you. So, how did Noah build the ark? Noah was huge. The sons of God were mighty men back then. The sons of God were mighty men back then. They started mixing together. But again, so what happened? God's spirit left after, so the children of Israel was regular gods, but the offsprings, listen, the story is quite significant, you know, because people say that God did the flood because of the whole Hercules type story. The angels made it with them, and now the genetics got corrupted. But where did Goliath come from then? Where did Goliath come from? Did the flood not work? No, God destroyed the earth. It wasn't about genetics and angels sleeping with men. That's ridiculous. People just made that up. But the sons of God, man, the children that was in God's presence, that makes sense. What did he say? And the Lord said unto Noah, come, you all of your house into the ark, for you have I seen righteous before me this generation. The holy people is always referred to as the children of God. This is where every clean beast, people seem to get this wrong. Seven. Seven of each kind of the clean beast. Two of the nine clean. See, of fowls, sevens. So I don't want to go too far down in the whole story, but the children of God came from the line of Seth. They stayed in the presence of the Lord. Cain had a lot of offsprings, building cities and stuff. But I showed you Methuselah, Enoch, they had multiple children. Only a few of them stayed in the presence of God. Read this story. Read the story. Seth, first child was Enos. It says, and Seth had more children. He begat Enos 107 at 107 years, and begot sons and daughters. Enos, he had Canaan. Canaan lived, 815 years, and he had sons. They had a lot of children. They had a lot of children. This is naming these people because this is where the line. Let me show you right here. The book of the generation of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Guys, so if we look at Matthew or Luke, it gives the genealogy. The significance is you can look it up in Luke chapter 3, but it gives a genealogy of Adam all the way down to Jesus. This is why this is significant. Adam, Seth, Enosh, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, Shem, and it goes all the way down. I'm not going to keep reading it. The significance is the fact that Jesus comes from this line. And it's big, significant things about why Jesus, in order for Jesus to be authorized to be king on earth, he had to come through the line of David. He had to inherit it. This is why he had to be born. It's a whole lot of prophecies. My entire point, the book of Genesis is listing the two lines because the significant things that happens about that. The holy line is the one that became the children of God, the, the mighty men. And throughout the Old Testament, there was multiple times where where God explained not to mix. Even with the tribes of the Israelites, they were not supposed to mix with the other tribes, let alone the pagan people. God was serious about that, and there's reasons for it. So that's the genealogy aspect, So I figured I'd throw this in there. People look over this stuff, and then the people that say Genesis is not to be taken literal, you have to explain this book right here. This is Luke chapter 3. You have to explain it. You have to explain why this goes all the way back to the son of Adam. You got to explain it because Jesus took Genesis literal. So to stick with this topic, the son of God comes all the way from the son of Adam, from that line of Seth. It's significant. So I don't want to get too off topic, but if we can look multiple aspects, they were supposed to be kept separate from the children of men. This was a law, a commandment. You know, it even talks about in Nehemiah, right here, Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 25. They are not supposed to have mixed marriages. In those days, also saw I the Jews that had married the wives of Ashdod, Ammon, and of Moab. Now, this takes place after King Solomon. Keep telling people King Solomon, what he did at the end of his life, God was not happy with. It says, and the children spoke half in the speech of Ashdod and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of those people where they were from. Now he had a problem with this. I contended with them and cursed them and smote some of them and plucked off their hair and made them swear by God, saying, you shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons or for yourselves. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin? Sin. I keep telling people, what King Solomon did was a sin. You are not allowed to have multiple wives. None of this stuff is allowed. It was never allowed. But he had, wives from pagans. It says, didn't King Solomon sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him. He was directly enhanced in intelligence and wisdom by God, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel. Yet, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. You listen to your wives, you can be led astray. Shall we then hear unto you to do all of this great evil, to transgress against our God and marrying strange wives? You are to be separate from among them. So I'm thinking at this point, I pretty much shown you the sons of God were regular folks. God's spirit dwelt in the land of Eden. The people that stayed in God's presence, it was it wasn't the entire offspring of Seth's, because Seth had multiple sons and daughters. So the Enoch, it was the direct lineage that is naming. They went out. Some of the children went out amongst that line to the rest of the offspring. Where Canaan offspring was at. There was cities built by the first Enoch. Well, by Canaan and named after Enoch. I showed you Noah, Enoch. Both of them walked with God. Noah stayed on the earth. Enoch got taken by God straight to heaven. Significant details. The sons of God, the children of God, these were the lines of Seth. Leave a comment and let me know if you disagree. I don't have a problem doing a part two. And if you think the book of Enoch is somewhat canonical, it's all types of contradictions. I can easily prove it. Just look up who named Noah and who gave Noah the information that the earth was going to be destroyed in the book of Enoch. Completely contradicts the Bible. In the book of Enoch, there's 7 heavens. In the actual inspired canon, there's 3 heavens. There's five. There's several heavens above God's throne in the book of Enoch. All of this stuff is contrary. So I think I proved the point here. All of these other sons of daughters, they came from the Seth line. They mixed with the Cain's line. I appreciate you guys watching. If you're here to the end, and let me know what else I can do to show you this truth, or show me where I'm wrong. I'm willing to go on live, do a debate, do a discussion, whatever you guys feel comfortable with. All right, this is Steve Loves God. Take care. God bless. In Jesus' name. Hope this was edifying. I figured, let me add to this an example of how it definitely was God's spirit that brought these offspring with the holy people being mighty. An example is Samson. Samson, the if you guys are familiar with the story, his mom prayed, asked for, she was barren. And she said, if I have she made a covenant with God, give her a child, and she would definitely be she'll dedicate she'll give her a son, to live his life out for God if she could just bear a child. God, granted her wish. No hair, no scissors would be taken to his head. Now, what happened? Samson was given significant strength, but he did something that a lot of us, as humans, you see women, they look great. He mixed with the children he was not supposed to. Samson went to Gaza and saw there an harlot and went in unto her. Samson lay till midnight and arose at midnight and took the doors of the gate of the city and the 2 posts and went away with them, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders and carried them up to the top of the hill, that is before Hebron. And the chick he with, Delilah, she literally, it's amazing. Tell me, I pray thee, where is your great strength lies? Samson said, if you buy me with 7 grain, no, he was just trolling her with 7 grain that would never dry, then he shall be weak as another man. But again, what is this story? Samson's great strength came directly from God. It's no other way. You know, if y'all familiar with the story of Samson, Delilah, eventually got him taken down by cutting his hair off. That broke the covenant. And in the end, right before the end of Samson's life, You know, God gave him strength one more time so that he can tear down the whole the place where they bound him up. He took out the columns of the building. He took them out. This was after his hair was cut off, and he died that way. The point is, God's spirit, when it dwelt amongst the people, that's where the strength came from. That's how they became mighty men. Noah was able to build that ark not because he was me and you size. You know, he was a mighty man because he was in the presence of God. So I just figured I'd toss that in there. You guys, again, let me know what you think. All right, take care.